Hi everyone, my name is Lauren. If you're new to my channel, well, so am I. I created this channel back when I was living in Florida to showcase all the fun adventures that I was going to go on and all the fun things that I got to do. While that happened a little bit, it didn't happen to the extent that I wanted it to. Truth of the matter is, I was incredibly burnt out. The last 5 years of my life have been just an absolute roller coaster, as well as I'm sure everyone else's has. I feel like everyone has like different eras of life. I had my like Disney college program era, then I had my Disneyland era, then I had my pandemic era, my Florida era, and I feel like I'm finally entering into a healing era, if you will. The last year in particular has been one of the roughest years of my life. In the last year, I had left a career that I had been at for 9 years that I had no thought of ever leaving. But I was so burnt out and it was time for me to go. And I wanted to experience a new chapter in life. So I moved back halfway across country to California. And I, at the time, got into a relationship that I had really pined after for years. Been 12 years of friendship, 6 years of situationship, and 7 months of dating. Luckily, it ended for the better. And then 3 months after that ended, one of my parents died. The last year has probably been one of the worst years of my life. I didn't realize how much I would miss the job I quit, and I started a new career where I had no knowledge of anything. It was so fresh, and it's the medical industry, so you can imagine how just wildly bizarre that is. And I was just really struggling to understand everything. I felt not great and not happy in a relationship that I had really wanted. There were things that had been kept from me that would have allowed me to make an informed decision 6 years ago. So that was really hard too, because I felt incredibly betrayed. While this is just, one little piece of the puzzle, it connects to so much more. If you knew me before the pandemic, you will know what my life looked like before the pandemic, and then during the pandemic, a lot happened. I had to move up to Northern California, and then I decided I still wanted to stay with Disney, so I moved to Florida to try to make that happen. And when I got there, I was so burnt out. I was so burnt out. I was trying so hard to make life be what I wanted it to be instead of letting life just be life. And in the last few months, I've grieved. I've grieved a lot. About the last 7 years of my life, I have been so sad. 2 of those years, I didn't even know I was sad until I went to therapy, and then I learned. I felt incredibly isolated and just sad over the last few years. So, after being so angry with life and how everything happened, after losing a parent, I had just stopped. I had really felt not only the deepest grief I've ever felt in my life, I felt like Frodo at the end of The Lord of the Rings before he gets on the ship with Gandalf. I just felt like I have done everything that I wanted to do in life, and I just felt sad. I felt like there was just this pain I was carrying with me that I just couldn't get rid of. And after a few months of losing a parent, I started to really think about how precious life is and what a gift it is to wake up and start another day. Pretty much everyone in my family is a huge introvert, except for my stepdad, who we lost. And I kind of started to realize he was the reason a lot of things happened for our family. And he would always go out and just live his life. He would do whatever he would want. He took others' thoughts into consideration, but pretty much if he didn't agree with them, he just did it himself anyways, and he didn't care, which I kind of really admire him for. And it just made me really think that's how I really want to start to live my life now. I feel like while I've gone through a lot of grieving, and I know there's gonna be more grieving, it never stops. It never stops, and it gets you in the most random times. But I really want to start living life again. I really want to start going out and doing fun things again, and really not worrying what other people think of me. I think that has been one of the biggest drawbacks in my life, is I have become such a people pleaser to the point where I've noticed I say nothing and I do nothing so that I fit in. But when you say nothing and do nothing, you're giving up a huge piece of who you really are. In fact, I really want to push myself to be as cringy as I can be, so I can live in those fun moments in life again and really find and discover and enjoy the person I was meant to be. So I'm hopping back on YouTube. We'll see how it goes. But there's just so many fun things to do where I live that aren't necessarily theme parks, and while that is a huge part of my life, it's not something I live super close to anymore. But I do live close to beautiful mountains, lots of trails, lots of really unique fun experiences, and they may be a little mundane, but I don't care. I'm gonna take my little camera out and I'm gonna have a fun little adventure, and if nobody watches it, that's fine. I'm gonna have fun making it. When I was a kid, I actually asked for a video camera when I was 11 years old, and I would play with it all the time. Me and my brother would make fun little sketches all the time. We took it everywhere with us, and like, I actually vlogged at like 11. So I really want to tap into that creative side of me again. Is it going to be as good as everyone else who's successful out there? No. But I really need to learn to not compare myself to that, and to know that I'm going to start small, and I'm going to need to learn steps along the way. If there's something any of you out there really are wanting to do, but you've just had a really hard time getting it started, just do it. Nike, right? Just do it. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching and listening, and I hope you all have a beautiful and blessed day. Bye!